Metagenics gets to the root of whole body health with pure, potent ingredients sourced from nature, clinically tested and trusted by doctors for decades. And unlike some other supplements, Metagenics is scientifically designed to be completely absorbed and start working in as little as 45 minutes, bringing your body back into balance for lasting well-being. Nourish your systems, don't just manage your symptoms, and unleash your inner power to heal. Metagenics, the science that creates balance.
Welcome to the MADE Fitz show. I almost said the Melissa MADE show. I'll get it one day. The MADE Fitz show. So I did have a scheduled podcast interview, and he flaked on me.
I'm the backup.
So Mick and I
look like a little kid. She got me on the short stool.
Not like we planned this, so you can just, if you happen to see the video or a promo, you're going to notice I'm much taller than him. So anyway, it's okay. We were on our little giraffe.
Say it right, damn it.
And we talked a lot about finances. I think when we really get kind of in an element where we can just talk about our future, finances always come up. And I told him, I said, it would be great to have a podcast with you, just kind of talking about our start date to today date on how we've been able to take care of ourselves. We've made lots of mistakes.
I think we always talk about finance when we're at some stupid place spending too much money.
It was expensive,
but it was cool.
You enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, you got a free cat.
Yeah. The whole family's here.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Booger. So anyway, so we're just going to kind of just go through our history of the decisions that we've made financially that have been good and the ones that haven't been so good, because there are some that, and I'll be honest, I'll toot his little horn right now.
And we're supposed to do this in 30 minutes.
I'll toot his, yeah, we can. I just got to cut you off a lot.
Okay. One word answers.
That when he doesn't have control of our money, that's the only time that we lose money. But every time that he has been in control of it, we've kept it or we've improved upon it. So
that's sweet, but I wouldn't say that.
We'll see, because I don't think there is one.
Okay. Full of hair.
We met in high school sweethearts, age 16, age 17. I was a little baby sophomore. He was a senior, but he was only 17.
Picking up the young chickies.
You grabbed the girl with the cute car, is what it was.
I had a pretty good car.
And nothing has changed. So we decided pretty much at that point that we were going to be together forever. So far it's working out. And we did our college days, and we really didn't make much investments in college, except for cars maybe. Did you invest in?
Yes, I was flipping cars like crazy when we first met, because I didn't have that investor mentality, but I had the hustle mentality. And lots of friends were in car business. My dad was big in restoration, mostly. Like, he would buy old, cheap, nice Triumphs and BMWs and Porsches and stuff like that. Not running, body, just shambles. And he'd work on it for 6 months, and then, he'd sell it for $5,000 or $8,000. And I was like, wow, that's huge, And so you just pay attention as you're a kid, and from mowing lawns to delivering newspapers, you see how those little bits of extra money infused into a situation beyond your regular job or paycheck makes a really big difference. It gets you further much faster. And we were talking about that this morning when we were having coffee. A lot of people will talk about their dreams, or they'll talk about the next step, or they'll talk about the plan B, or, this is going to happen when, or if, and you guys have heard a million analogies like this, and I've said a million of them, but very few people act on it, which I don't understand. Yeah, it takes effort and grit, and you're going to fall on your face a few times, but isn't that like the excitement of life, to see if you can do it, or to see how far you could go?
You think?
And if you break it and make a mess, it can always be fixed. Or you just toss it and start over, with something else, or sell it for a loss and get off of it if it's just driving you insane. But at least you're giving it a shot.
We are hustlers. And even this morning, before I was getting ready for my podcast, I was going to do, I was thinking to myself, gosh, I've already done a whole lot today. It's not even 1 o'clock and I've done a full day's worth of work. And that's usually you and I 7 days a week. We have said this many times that we don't take days off. We take weeks off.
We don't know what a day, 24 hours is 24 hours. And I say it like that too, because we never do an 8-hour day, ever. If you're that person, that's the first thing you got to change, or you're just going to be stuck in that rut. The rut's just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. So we don't know really what day, and we sure shit the same thing don't have a balance of hours. A task is until the task is done. Yesterday, I was working on a motorcycle and broke a stupid bolt. I spent 5 hours getting this stupid bolt out. And then just like this, the guy bails on her and she's like, hey, go put on a hat and do this podcast with me about finances. And I'm like, I look like shit. I should wash my hands and stuff. She's like, just put on a hat, hide your mullet and come on. So
nobody watches it. They just listen to it.
Here I am.
So
let's hope.
Let's move forward.
It's gonna make them turn this one on.
So yeah, probably during college.
Melissa's got her shirt off.
During college, you were still, which has never changed, buying and selling things. I mean, that's your whole
cars and bikes mostly, because they're just not that expensive and you can get off them quick.
Yes.
Like 1 to 3 weeks. Buy it, do a couple little things, just cosmetic. I wouldn't even get too crazy into it. I would literally like go around it and scrub it with a toothbrush and super glue some stuff. Go to like a salvage yard and buy some parts that it was missing or that were broken.
Okay.
Put it back together and sell it.
So I'm gonna.
Okay.
You have to remember Lauren and I's.
Girls.
Us. We. Our demographic are mostly women, 30s, 40s, and 50s. And you're talking about buying and selling motorcycles. So
talk to your husband.
I'm not going to ask you to figure out for women what they can buy and sell, but it's all about the, obviously, and I don't want to say the hustle mentality, because everybody grows in a different way. Some people are very good with a 9 to 5. Some people are good with the 4-day work week. Some people work really, really hard, but then take long periods of time off. Everybody is different, but there is a level of working harder than the average person to be successful. You always have to keep that in mind. And one thing that I think, aside from cars and bikes and all the boats, everything that you've sold, our first house, we bought our first house when I was before I was pregnant with Tanner, or
before
I was pregnant.
Yeah, we wanted to bring him home to a new house.
Yeah, but no, I was pregnant.
Yes.
So, but before I gave birth.
Yes.
And that was kind of your first taste of real estate. What made you, and we did well on that house, what made you, as a person who was brand new in real estate, or what made you, what was about that house that someone that doesn't have any experience, how did you know that house was a good one to buy?
Well, you hear people say in real estate, location, location, location. And that's great. And you'll get there. But everything's baby steps, right? So when you are going to go blow your load on the house, and whatever that is, if it's 150,000 or 500,000, doesn't really matter. You need to look for the most bang for your buck. So even as a kid, not really knowing what I was doing, buying a $135,000 house, but this was back in 1994. So I made sure it was on a cul-de-sac at the end of a road, right? With no through traffic. Not only was it on a cul-de-sac, but it was on a corner lot in a cul-de-sac with a dead end road. Then there was nothing behind us but forest. So that was another plus. And then it was a larger lot. It was a half-acre lot where most people had like a quarter lot or a 3-acre lot. And then we wound up buying the lot behind us when we went to sell it too. I shot for a lot of square footage. It wasn't like my favorite floor plan, but it had like 600 or 700 more square feet than most of the other houses that were in that price range. And then the big plus was it had a complete full-size basement, but it was unfinished. And I'm handy, and I'm not, I don't mind working or staying up late and banging on boards and putting up drywall, and I'll figure that shit out. So I finished the whole basement while we lived there couple of years. And then when we sold that house, we made a pretty good chunk. I mean, especially for our age and knowing what we were doing, we sold the house and everybody's like, oh, it's not going to sell. It's not a good market. I mean, you hear that shit all the time. And we just sold our last house in like 2 months ago. Piss poor record shit market. So, it's making it desirable for someone. If you see the benefit in it, someone else is going to too. It's that simple. It's that simple. Just try to line up as many positives as you can that set it aside from what's around.
So it's obviously not, you're not looking for the cheapest house in the area, or I think that's where most people think is, like you said, location, but also, this is the cheapest house in there, which I know makes a difference, but it's also really important that it's something that you look at and you go, I would buy it myself. If you look at it and you're like, oh, I wouldn't buy it, then you probably shouldn't buy it.
Well, and you know this, like, you'll bus roll me. I have no problem spending a little bit more money on something when I go to buy it, when I know that thing is going to make me more money. And I'm not talking about, now, don't get this confused with the little, butterflies in your stomach where it's like, oh, that kitchen's so much awesomer, or that bathroom's already done. That is, I call it lipstick on a pig. It's there designed to divert your attention. I would spend more for, like I said, more square footage in a house, an unfinished basement, a little bit bigger lot on a quieter part of the road, on a dead end road, making sure nothing's behind me, that there's a guaranteed green belt, that I can control my neighbors. Controlling your neighbors is huge. If you've ever been on the wrong side of the fence on that situation, sucks.
Yeah.
So
okay,
just shit like that. Even with the cars, when I was flipping cars, I would always look at the potential. It didn't matter if it wasn't the best looking car. If I knew I could put a couple of days of elbow grease into that thing and turn it around, that was just made more sense, and it made more profit.
yeah, you've brought home some things that I've been like, wow. And
I towed home some shit.
yeah, and your phrase is,
Remember my Jeep, the black Jeep? You loved that one.
there's a what for every seat.
And there's an ass for every seat.
Yeah, that's his
100%. I mean, think about it. Do you still own anything that you owned when you were, just say 18? Let's just go to legal age of an adult. You still have anything? No, you always sell your house. You always sell your car. You always sell your toys. It just, that's what I say. There's an ass for every seat. Someone else is going to be interested in your junk, or they're going to be interested in your prize. Go buy it.
So we sold the yellow house, and my memory is not as good as yours, but I believe we went
Whoa.
to.
Let's repeat. Pause.
I
repeat,
know.
Volume up.
Nope.
And
Nope.
Go ahead.
Nope.
2 times. Second time.
Nope. We went to Ridgemont, and we've done this a few times. So I'd like for you to talk on, because it's scary for a lot of people, gosh, especially today and age, but it has bode well for us every single time. But when we decide to upgrade our life, we go and we even did this. Yeah, we've done it several times. We jump to live beyond our means.
Yeah. All in. Say if you're comfortable with going 25% up in your next purchase. So like if it's 180, you're comfortable going 250, 275. And I'll say it again, if the opportunity presents itself, this house has extra square footage, it's just better than the rest, it's whatever, and it's 335 or 345, do it. Every time, do it.
If you're responsible.
There's only a few times where I'll just say I chickened out, and 99% of the times I regret it. I look back at Melissa, I'll follow it and go, remember that house I should have bought? Remember that boat I should have bought? And like 2 years later, I see it on Facebook Marketplace, or I see it list and sell, and I'm like, look what it sold for. And I'm like, damn it, could have had another 20 grand, could have had another 50 grand. So my nemesis is I don't say no. And I have shit all over the world now. Just crazy amounts of stuff. But I look at it as no different than it's better than having your money sitting in the bank, because these things make us money.
But what sacrifices did we have to make to live beyond our means? Because like I even think
there's a couple of times I've pushed too hard, too fast.
Shady Wood.
How about Hawaii?
Yeah.
Like cruising around, putting up your seat cushions and trying to scrape together enough change to go get the kids Happy Meals while we're living in Hawaii. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, I want to be them. I mean, they just took all their stuff and packed and flew and dipped, and they're doing it. Well, yeah, we were doing it, but it's never comfortable all the time.
Right.
Let's say that, especially if you're, like you said, especially if you're pushing hard to break through, to go up to a next level, it's always going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, you really got to tighten the reins, number one.
And we do without a lot of shit. Like we just don't go out and eat a lot. We don't buy crazy shit. I don't need, well, she does. I don't need designer, brand name, whatever. I could care who makes my purse. I don't care who makes my shoes or my shirt or my whatever.
Skechers.
And I tell you what, I won't spend, well, you're getting better the older that you get. So you should be spending like $5 on stuff.
New money person thinks they need the fancy.
Yes. Like if I could share something, and it's, we all have that. We all have the same dream. We had to have the, the Ferrari and the McLaren and the stupid, super huge, crazy house, all the bullshit, like when I call that new money syndrome, right? Like you've been telling yourself all along, God, I just want to drive an Aston Martin, or that's my dream, or I just want a meteor. I want a house with a media room and a big pool. And then when you get that stuff, you're just like, it's so stupid. Our fondest memories is making coffee, walking the beach,
taking the kids somewhere.
Yeah, taking the kids on a trip. Just like that giraffe manor thing, just sitting looking out a window for 4 hours at giraffes, just sitting there looking at them. So the funny thing about it is, you be honest with yourself. Look back, your best memories will always be the cheap or the free shit. The experiences, go out and do, but save your money. Don't buy all the frivolous shit. And when you get that exotic car that you finally wanted, you're going to find out that the expense isn't buying it. It's keeping that son of a bitch out of the shop, because that's where they like to live.
I find it ironic that you talk about, we had all the exotic cars.
I know, but this, yeah, I still have some stuff, but that was just kind of a collection. We were in a different money category 2 or 3 years ago. So I saw them as investments, and they are, because I still have a few, and the ones that I have are worth 2 and 3 times what I bought them for 6 and 7 years ago. And so they're just sitting there like little Easter eggs. And when I'm ready to go lay them out in the grass and watch them sparkle and have somebody pick them up for, 2x or 3x or whatever, then I'll get rid of them. But thank God, so far, knock on, can't touch the table because the computer's on it. But we haven't needed to punt the stuff yet, but it's there if we need to.
So we went from upgrading our homes. First home was a beautiful baby yellow colored house, and we just kept upgrading to the point that we were in Shadywood. So our houses kept getting better over the years, over the decades, you could almost say.
Our first house was light yellow.
That's what I said, a baby yellow.
Oh, I thought you said baby blue.
No, baby yellow. Rewind. Anyway.
Easter egg.
So when we were in Shadywood and really started generating a lot of income is when you, number one, were going stir crazy. Number two, you want to take the money that we were making and you wanted to make more money with the money we were making. So instead of us buying houses that we were living in, improving upon, and then selling and buying a new house that we'd live in, you started in buying investment properties. And again, you were brand new at this. It's not something that you went to school for.
Shit about nothing.
Yeah. Well, what made you buy your first couple of houses? Why? Where? What was your budget?
I remember somebody telling me a long time ago, the best thing you can do on any kind of investment real estate wise is to be standing where the wave is going to hit. And nobody really knows, that's kind of like crystal ball stuff. But there are some places where you can clearly see growth exploding. And so there's this little area 5 miles down the road from us called historic downtown McKinney. And while everybody was refacing commercial buildings and people were doing multi-million-dollar commercial upgrades, and then people are buying $500,000 houses and turning them into $1 million houses, nobody's looking at the dog shit. So I started looking at the dog shit. And these were houses that were built in the 60s and 70s, and they're just little Cracker Jack boxes. I remember one was 906 square feet that I bought, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And you can scoop them for 180,000 to 225,000. And I bought 7 of them in less than a year. And they ranged from the 906 square feet to the biggest was probably 1,700 square feet, but they were all smaller and they were all older. And then I just made them look really good, whatever they needed. If it needed kitchen work or bathroom work or flooring or painting or siding or a roof or a fence, or get rid of all the foliage and make it so you could see the yard, pour a new concrete driveway because it was crushed. I mean, whatever it was, whatever it needed, I did it because I had some extra time and we had the extra money, and I just couldn't see the money sitting in the bank making next to nothing. And so I just tried it, and I bought these cheaper houses. And the way I did it is I could have just bought 1 or 2 with cash, right? And just owned them outright. But then I thought that would be pretty slow on the turn of the ROI, or return of investment, right? Maybe 6 months, you put in this money and maybe you make $40,000 or $50,000. So why not just take the minimum to finance the houses and just do, say, 25 to 40,000, depending on the price of the house, as a down payment. And then the payments were cheap, and maybe I only have to make a few payments before I can fix up the house, turn around, sell it, and cash it out. So that allowed me to do 7 instead of like 2. So we did 7, and then we did them all at once, and they didn't all get done at once, and they all didn't sell at once, but 4 of them sold in 1 month together. So, everything in sales is a numbers game. The more that you can experiment with, the chances of you coming out with a win are better, right? Like if you just buy one thing and you flip it, maybe you have a 50-50 chance. If you buy 7 things and you go to flip it, well, now maybe you have a 70 or 80% chance of making overall profit. You also have, and then people will say, well, don't you have a 70 or 80% chance of getting buried and like losing all your money and whatever? Here's the analogy that I like to use. People that own restaurants, and everybody wants to own a restaurant and start a restaurant, scares the shit out of me. I would never do that, because you are all in. You're $250,000 in just to sign the lease or whatever for 2 years. Then you're probably another 250 or more in on changing the signage and changing the seats and changing the colors. Then another $250,000 to get your insurances and your whatever, and taxes and blah. And then another $250,000 to buy all your food, right? To launch it. And boy, people better come, and you better sell the food, or the food's all going to rot. So you could be out hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. If you buy a house to flip, and let's just say it's a $250,000 house, and you shit show all over the place, like you just trip over your feet, make all the worst decisions ever. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to get $250,000 back for the house. You'll at least get what you spent, because you're making improvements, right? Even if you don't do that good of a job, it's probably going to bring more money. And on the average, real estate grows at a rate of 15 or 18% every year anyway. So if you held it for a year or 2, you could just literally wait it out and make a little bit of money.
Okay. So that makes sense. So you notice my beautiful timeline, going from us buying our first house to upgrading each of our houses to then buying little cracker box houses that you were able to flip quickly and double your money.
Investment properties.
Yes. Well, not just that, but now we decided, instead of going to Mexico every few weeks, we decided we'd buy a house there. So we bought a house near Cabo and fell in love with it. Wish we were there right now.
Yeah. We don't know why we spend so much time other than there.
But anyway,
too busy.
But that property in and of itself is going to be,
insane.
Yeah, but
It's nothing short of
you
insane.
know
We lucked
that,
out.
and now you're a little more experienced, but now you're talking international, and you're not super experienced international, but enough to buy a house in Cabo area, which the East Cape area, which was difficult, but not impossible, but it was difficult. It took a lot of patience on his end, which he doesn't have a lot of. So
None.
it was a miracle. But now you've bought properties in the same area to build homes to flip or to Airbnb or to possibly build and live in instead. I mean, your mind's going a mile a minute, but now you're at the international level, hoping, because how do you know that the properties that we're buying in the East Cape, what is it about buying there besides having our lovely home nearby that makes you go, this will be a cash cow?
Well, in the 30 minutes or whatever you're trying to keep this to, there's too much to cover. But let's just say this. While I was buying the cheap stuff and doing the remodels, I'm physically there, and I'm watching the neighbors, and I'm watching houses go for sale, and I'm watching how long that they're listed. Just because I'm active and I'm being the grease monkey doesn't mean I'm not paying attention or educating myself or learning the market or paying attention, right? So while I'm doing that, I'm watching these things move, and they're all moving in a trend going up as I anticipated and hoped and prayed for. So, okay, good. We're good. So the thing that you're leaving out is when you do something internationally, there's no more finance. You got to do it with cash. So the goal, I mean, our dream, so when we were little kids, when we were dating, was to just run away and find a house that just was on the beach, covered in palm trees, on a beach. I mean, beachfront, not on a beach or I can see the water, like beachfront. Open your door, fall in the water type of thing, and big sandy beach and beautiful sand and all that stuff. So we looked and looked and looked, and through the help of a friend, we just literally fell on our face on this house in this area. So, but to do that, you needed cash. And I went there because I found a house that I loved, and it was good enough for me for $700,000. This one fell in love with a house that had a 1 in front of it. So she looked at me, and she never asked for much, but she looked at me and she said, "This is me. Like, holy shit, put a fork in me. I'm done. Like, I don't ask for a lot, but if you can pull this off somehow, do it. Like, do it. Kind of like I dare you to see if you could pull this shit off." So we put a down payment, like half of the 750 house. And I was like, shit, if I did this and did this and did this and sold all these houses and hurry up and finish a couple of them and get them all sold, I can literally take the cash from buying shit little houses that I had $800,000 wrapped up into, and I could cash out, and it would get me somewhere between 1.5 and 1.7. And it did, and it did it. And we bought this Cabo house physically from levels of flips and upgrading. So we took that money and we bought this house. Reasons why we bought this house, as I explained already. I mean, it's just shy of 4,000 square feet. It's concrete. It's beautiful. It's timeless. People say like, what is it? Lloyd Wright or something design, like that real simple architectural design that just never ages. Clean lines, all glass, tons of glass, no walls, just very open. And it's literally beachfront. But the things that made me go all in on this place is the Four Seasons opened their highest level resort 3 miles up the beach from our house. Right next to it, the Amen, am I saying that right? Amen, is building their resort, which is supposed to trump the level of a Four Seasons. I haven't stayed in one, but friends of mine that have are like, oh yeah, no, it's a whole different level, dude. So they're building right next to Four Seasons. Four Seasons has bought most of the town that our house resides in. They have about 80% of the town. And I've seen the drawings and designs of the layout and the changes in the next 2 years. It's insane. Super boutique-y, like, the best of Lahaina, what Lahaina was like, but just imagine it going forever and then all being clean and new. Huh?
I said, rest in peace, Lahaina.
Yeah, that's a heart tugger for us because we were there for 5.5 years, and man, Maui is something else. Maui's awesome. We thought just for about that long, we thought maybe of going back to Hawaii, but it's just the flights and the time change.
And it's expensive.
Mexico is so easy. It's so easy. It's so fast. We can be there in 2.5 hours. We want to stay close to the kids to come back and pit stop. It just made so much sense. And then you start digging, right? You start digging for more information, more information, more information. They just put in a bullet train. They had the balls to bring on a female president. Mexico's doing so much crazy shit. They are gunning for the top 5 superpowers in the world. And every investment company will tell you Mexico's the next big thing. And, people are moving their companies there in droves. There's so many financial breaks. I won't even get into that, but it's not near as spooky as everybody thinks. There's so many incredible places throughout Mexico. Yeah. So I started digging on my hunch, and then my hunch became exciting, and then exciting became reality. So now I think we just finished signing our 5th property in Mexico.
Which I'm sitting here laughing because what he does is happening at a
Too much, too fast.
more and more rapid rate because we just bought the house in Tulum and you're already buying the lot next to it. We haven't even moved in yet.
Opportunity. And sometimes it comes at the worst time. Like we're effing unemployed in, like, I don't know, 60 days, no more paycheck for us. But I don't want to spend that money right now, but the price is good. And more importantly, if the people that own it right now, they want to start building, and what they want to build is a shitty little house and 3 apartment buildings on the lot. It's in a development, but it's a very lax development. And casitas are a big thing in Mexico. And there's no limit to how many you can have on your lot. You can just put 8 casitas or something if you want to. And the horrible thing of our beautiful jungle serene private house is all the glass and all the views out the house point at that lot. And so if they level it, it's going to look like we have a jungle house next to a parking lot. And then it's going to be a jungle house next to a noisy house. So we buy it to, what did I say before? Control our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be us. So it's smart. It's smart. And then if, there's ever a moment of panic or whatever down the road, then I do something on it. I build a little house and turn it and sell it, or I just list the lot and sell it. And the lot's going to be worth more in 2 years or 5 years or whatever if we need the itch to get rid of it.
You're also not speaking of that
makes 6, by the way.
We can, if we want to, Airbnb these 2 beautiful homes in Mexico. We don't need to, but it's always an option. You're building houses.
Plural.
Did
twins.
Carlos do anything?
Yeah. We got Twinkies going up.
Slow process, but
and so homes. If you guys are interested in seeing how awesome Mexico is, pretty soon you could rent our beautiful houses that are
designed by Mick,
30 feet tall, with unbelievable ocean sunrise and sunset view, 360 view, huge mountain view behind on the opposite side of the ocean, and pool top or rooftop pool, jacuzzi, swim up bar, barbecue, and seating for 12 for eating out there. Like you'll never come off the rooftop. And it's like hold 1 breath and run into the water, like probably that far from the ocean. And we're going to put side-by-sides in the garage so you can experience how badass it is to go ripping up and down a 7-mile beach with nobody on.
Cabo Pomo.
And Cabo Pomo is the best diving spot in the planet, and it has tacos and beer, which is incredible. I mean, it's so Sleepy Hollow. Mexico talks to our heart. It's not for everybody. And the takeaway isn't Mexico, 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 go to Mexico. You know, the takeaway is go get outside the United States and see what tickles your pickle. There's some good stuff out there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm going to shift. So you've done a great job.
Clutch first.
You've done a great job. There's a lot of people who aren't going to stand that joke.
I
It's
know.
sad.
Well, the beauty of, those, the cars that I have, they're all manual. So, I don't have to put alarms on because yeah, shit, these kids these days wouldn't know how to move that thing across the parking lot.
Anyway, your legacy of starting from a paper route to building your first motorcycle out of a box to
Yeah.
now owning, how many properties do we own now? Or you said 15?
No, but then I said that was wrong on the car.
Yeah.
I want to say 19 because I keep forgetting lots. Like we have lots of land.
And
So-
with the always forget the Washington.
Yeah, and we forget the Washington.
Anyway, so you've done all this amazing stuff for you and I, but you've also helped our children in fantastic ways. You want to share a little bit on how you were able to, I mean, you knew from the get-go, I think when they were 18, to help them get a credit card and how to use that responsibly and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But how have you been able to help the kids be independent on their own? And
It should be mandatory that, there's a finance class in school. Because everybody will tell you how to sign up for a credit card for a free football, but they won't tell you that you'll be paying on that credit card, for 14 years. Or, hey, hurry up and sign here on the student loan. Don't worry about it. It's deferred. That's my favorite word. It's deferred, or it's zero interest until, or you don't have to make any payments until you get a job. You want to hear a staggering percentage rate, and it's not anywhere near this anymore. So go look it up. I'm not even going to quote it, but you have any idea? And it's a high ass percentage of people that get a degree in college and they never, ever do something in that line of degree. So, but they can never say, oh, well, I wanted to be a psychology major and I got my master's in psychology and now I work at a sporting goods store as a manager. But can I have the money back for all I wasted, 6 years, but can I have the money back? Well, the money's $183,000 and they'll pay for that for the rest of their life. And no one tells you that you can't write it off in bankruptcy or that it ever goes away. It doesn't matter. Even if you're unemployed, they just park it. It's unerasable. It never goes away. You have to pay it.
kids.
I wish they'd threaten the shit. I wish they'd explain it like that and then let you really make a decision. My parents told me to go work. Like, hey, you suck at school. Just go work. And I got class clown every year and smart ass of the year. And I got ISS all the time. So did she.
Wow.
I'm surprised we didn't need him there. We were little shits. So don't ever think that, someone that's young, or especially your kid that's a little asshole, is going to grow up to be,
Ruthless.
a loser or mediocre. I've seen more than not people that are extremely educated, very well versed, impressive vocabulary, all the things, all the credentials, the alumni license plate frame around their Hyundai. And they don't do anything. It's like they're petrified to pick a goal or to push or to be uncomfortable or to just risk it all, put all the chips in, because essentially that's what you're doing. When you do an investment property, or even you just decide to buy a $2,000 car to flip it, you're committed. You wheel that piece of shit home. From that point, you're committed. So the faster you can get on it and the faster you can turn it around, the faster you can see the headlights go down the street, that's like your number one goal, And so the same thing now with these properties, she's looking at me going, are you going to this? Are you going to that? Slow down, take a break. Well, if we have all this shit, right, it's opportunity, and opportunity's knocking. So while we're still young and active and full of energy, we can't remember what day it is or time, we just want to try to knock it all out. We, we want an easy lifestyle. And I feel like we have it already, because we joke when we're walking around and we're like, hey, we're not commuting in traffic. Hey, don't have to wear a monkey suit. I don't have ties I've wore, and sales meetings and all this. Just the conformity, what we do right now is our own choice, and it's our own time. It's a lot of time, and it's a lot of stress sometimes, but the reward is huge in comparison. And I just don't understand why more people don't trust themselves to try it. It's crazy.
So nothing about the kids?
Oh yeah, you asked me a kid question. There's a little ADD in there somewhere floating. Grrr, gear spinning, oil lights on. I always, we could have afforded to spoil the shit out of them, and I see that mistake happening with so many parents. Just like us, we grew up from not having a whole lot, but I was crazy broke, poor. So I wanted everything for my kids. And when they were smaller and before they really knew or could get into greed, they had nice clothes, or they had like a little, CD player or a DVD player, portable DVD player in the car, and all the shit. Yes, we're old. We had dial phones and whatever. But when they got to the point of adolescence, I guess, I don't know what you call it, like 14, 15, and now brand names, and I should have. It was like, yep, you can have it, but you got to earn it. You got to do something. There needs to be an exchange of value. Like, you have to do things for me, and I'll give you the money, and you can get the thing, but you're not getting the thing by asking or repeating or stomping or throwing a fit or telling me, I'm a horrible parent for not, caving in. So our kids always had to earn stuff. And that lesson is huge because it comes full circle. They're in the 28 and 30 now, and they've told us, multiple times, thank you for not, just throwing shit at us. I see where, it's left our friends, and they don't know how to fend for themselves. They don't have value in anything. They don't, they don't see what it takes to really earn that kind of money. Like, they're borderline delusional on saying a number and seeing what it would take to do that. Or, I want this $70,000 car. They're like, 70 grand? No way. So anyways, they're good that way.
Yeah, they've both been business owners already.
Yeah.
And have.
They got balls. Those kids have guts.
They do, and they worked really hard in their businesses.
They know that choice is harder. They know, but they wanted to do it anyway. And even at 25, they were both business owners at 25, right? Ish. And they both told us, I know it's going to be hard, and I don't care. Like, I want to be able to say I did it for myself. I did it by myself, I mean, no one's successful by themselves. You always find people to help you get unstuck or onto the next level. But essentially, you're the one that's risking, and you're the one to blame if it fails. But then you're also the one that you can, take a big breath and reward when you pull it off. So I'm sure we've instilled some of that in our kids, but still, you can't make a person do anything. Mm-hmm. But to see them choose to do it was huge. And in this day and age, everything seems to be going the opposite direction. So to see them nut up at a young age and just go for it and do it and try and expect more for themselves is fantastic. I think that's like one of the biggest heartfelt moments for a parent, any parent, but especially us, because they could totally just be, up on our armpit, living in there and, not wanting to get out of the house. But they're very excited to be in their own homes, and they remodel their own homes and just all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where they go with all their ideas and stuff. Good kids.
We also, which I'm very grateful for, is when we were younger, getting in our college years, my parents helped us out a lot. And so we were able to pay them back. And the house that Mick, well, my mom wanted to buy a house in Washington, and she was looking at a very inexpensive, because they're just living on pension. And
Not bad, but just like mediocre
Yeah.
on a street in a neighborhood with other houses, like vanilla.
he said, no, he said, why don't we look for something a little bit nicer, knowing that it was going to be an investment property. And my mom always says it's her home. She calls it her home. It feels like her home.
Totally
but-
is till they're done with it.
Yeah, but we had to step up.
But that was an opportunity too. I started
Yeah.
looking, I started looking,
Beautiful
I started
house.
looking. I'm like, oh my God, look at this house.
Yeah.
It's 100.
We would live in it, just like we said
Yeah.
in the very beginning, in a heartbeat.
And that,
live in this house.
that's a part that I left out. She's heard this a bazillion times. Okay. Whatever house that I bought, whatever car I bought, boat I bought, you have to be okay to live in it or drive it or own it. Act like you're going to get stuck in it. And if that freaks you out, then it's telling you right there, this isn't the right one, right? Like if you're hesitant, like, I wouldn't drive a piece of shit. Then why are you buying it to try to flip it for an investment, right? Unless you can fully see the potential past it and then hurry up and get it looking good. I mean, just a fresh one of this, like, a month ago, I bought this diesel truck. And when I brought it home, it just looked like a piece of shit. Bald tires, grandpa truck, nothing to it. But I saw the vision in my mind of what I wanted to do to it. And it was only a couple grand to do it, $2,500 probably total. And now that I've done it, like everybody comes up to me and says, oh my God, that truck's awesome. Holy shit. I think that's like the coolest truck you've had. And it was just a cheap, crappy purchase, but it's really a deal. And I just saw the potential of, hey, do some tweaks to it. So, but even with that, I'm not going to buy it unless I'm okay with being stuck in it. So same thing with the houses, and I've told her that. We made jokes when we did the Beachbody thing, and money was crazy. And I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Like if we lose our ass and we have no more money, we always got, these multiple houses. We can go just pick one and live in it, and for real, I would have lived in every rental house that I bought. I think the neighborhood was good. The location was good. They were cute. I mean, it's not my dream home, but it was cute, looked good inside, looked good outside. It was in good shape. So yes, always 100%. You have to have that mentality that you would live in it. You would drive it. And then you're going to own it, right? You're going to own it. You're going to stand behind it. And that alone puts it in a different category of value when you go to sell it. You believe in it.
Last question for you.
I'm hungry.
You
Yes,
hungry?
I'm hungry.
Ready for your grilled cheese?
Yeah.
He knew.
I'm a simple guy.
What he's gonna have for lunch. What
You
would
totally make me the midget.
what would you not invest in? And this is
Restaurant, I said.
Yes, this is fast. I don't.
My favorite phrase here lately, I've like coined it the last year or two. Is I feel like, good God, we've lost so much money, and the opposite of this. Put your money in something you can put ketchup on. That's the fun way to say it. And it means exactly that. Put money in the stock market. Okay. I'm going to put $100,000 in the stock market. Can I put ketchup on it? Nope. Ketchup would hit the floor. So don't do it. Well, I want to be a part owner of a commercial building, 10% owner. Okay. Well, what's that going to cost? Only $500,000, multi-million-dollar thing. Okay. How many people are in it? 5. All right. Put ketchup on it. Well, I'm 1/5 owner. You're about ready to get a bus parked somewhere that's not going to fit. So don't do stuff like that. Don't be enamored by trying to just step right up to the pedestal, as I say, as an investor. Like, oh, but I could get this $1 million house and we could fix it up and then sell it for 2.5 million. No, start with the little stuff. Do it by yourself. Own it, or own most of it. Like even those little houses that I put $25,000 or $50,000 down payment. I mean, my debt to income ratio was insane because say it's a $200,000 house and I put $50,000 down, I'm only financing 150. But keep in mind, I'm working on it right away. So it's worth more money. So maybe I owe 150 on a house I'm going to list for 375. I was always 50% or better equity in it. So no matter what, like, be smart about going into it and set your cushion. Have a cushion. I need a cushion because I'm like a foot shorter than you. You look like a
I'm
beast.
slouching too.
You look like you went to the gym today.
I did.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah,
There's when
any
she
last-
says sit down and start rattling off finances. I mean, there's a million things to talk about. I think the simplest starting points are, you know, and she gets messages like this. I have $25,000. What do I do with it? I have $50,000. What do I do with it? There's so many questions. I don't know how handy you are. You know, I don't know if you're handy. If you're not, if you're just completely a white collar book nerd, then get a friend that's really handy. And you and that person go in, you know, they put 25 grand, you put 25 grand, and you're what's called the silent investor, and he's the sweat equity guy.
That's
you
not
know,
fair.
and
Yes,
do it
well,
that
Lord.
way and split the money. More importantly, don't be afraid to get more involved. I mean, I think we've afforded ourselves a fantastic lifestyle, and there's some serious fairy tale moments in it, you know, over the last 20 years, 30 years, maybe, growing pains, you know, but sorry. With all that being said and behind us, none of it would happen if we don't push ourselves out of our comfort zone. You hear this shit on every inspirational book, or anyone that wants to talk to you about success. They're all going to say that, right? You have to trust yourself. You have to get uncomfortable. You got to push way beyond, not 10% or 20% on your comfort zone, 50% outside your comfort zone. Because that's not growing, that's leaning. Like 10% is leaning. You know, if I want to go 50%, I'm in the other room. That's a significant change. That's uncomfortable. That's different, you know? That's something you're not used to. People are always used to doing this. So you got to go a little bit further, and you'll surprise yourself. I think most people will succeed. It's a what is it? Scarcity mentality right now. Everybody's scared. Everybody's scared to do everything. Everybody's scared to talk. Everybody's scared to pick a side. Everybody's scared to voice their opinion or not voice their opinion. I mean, people will yell at you for not voicing your opinion because they'll just think something's wrong because you didn't comment, you know? So get over it. Turn everything off. I love doing this stuff because anybody that knows me, I'm completely off social media. I shit and all that stuff and Cinco de Mayo, which I thought was ironic. Why not? Shut it all down. And it just allows me to be way more present in things that I do. I find crazy enjoyment of just, you know, visiting a friend in the middle of the day or having somebody come over. It's not an interruption anymore, where everything just felt like, you know, I was fighting the time. Now I feel like I'm controlling the time. So I suggest you try this. Turn some shit off. Go have fun. Try something different.
Very true. Okay. Very good job.
That's it?
Yep.
Can I have my grilled cheese now?
Yeah, I gotta go make some grilled cheese. So wait, you listen to some of my podcasts, but not all of them. Because you like Joe Rogan better than me.
You're cuter than Joe,
But I smell better, I'm sure.
but Joe slings it.
Yeah, he does. I end my podcast with a catchphrase. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Wake up energized and always go to bed fulfilled or something like that. It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
What is it? It's my own words.
Might be
See,
better.
that's how you know when someone's not full of shit. If they've heard your thing and they give you their true interpretation, it's like, oh, they do pay attention. They do listen. Otherwise, if I just repeat it verbatim, I'm just a puppet, you know, just read it. And, oh yeah, your shirt says Guns and Roses.
It just says roses.
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 So what does it say? What, hit your thing.
Wake up feeling prepared, go to bed feeling proud.
Right. I got one.
What?
Work on always doing what you said you were going to do. Stop making goals and then just leaving them out there.
Amen. Amen. We do that all too often. All right, you guys have a great day. Thank you for being a wonderful backup man. I'll make you a good sandwich. And you guys have a great day. Say goodbye.
Bye.